Hey folks, Travis here from Northwoods Overland coming to you with another upgrade video for the 4runner. In today's video we are exploring upgrading the fog lights to Baja Designs Squadron Sports. For these we got the wide cornering lenses as well as the amber color, both of which I think are going to be awesome additions and look great on the 4runner. We chose the Baja Designs versus some of the other options out there because they're a powerful light. They throw out about 3,000 lumens or a little more than 3,000 lumens per light. These are actually, they work on not only the 4runner as well as the Tacoma and the Tundra for the fog light replacement. There's a whole kit that actually comes with all the parts and pieces that you need to be able to install them. I'll put a link to that in the video in the description. And yeah, I hope this video is helpful today to help you show how to actually install Baja Designs and swap them out for your stock fog lights. And if it is, please don't hesitate to like or subscribe. You can follow along as I continue to build out the 4runner, add some things on it to make it into as awesome as an off-road rig as I kind of have envisioned. And we'll take it out west and actually play around some of the bigger fun stuff out there. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful to you, and if it is, again, please don't hesitate to like or subscribe to the video. They're helpful, especially to the small YouTubers like me. And yeah, come right along. We'll jump right in. So one of the first things we want to do, of course, is let's get everything unboxed and lay out all the parts and pieces. Let's make sure we have everything, because in case we don't, we can reach back out to Baja Designs or wherever you bought this through and try to get all the parts and pieces. So the first thing we have here is we have a couple of the lights. Looking beautiful as always, like most Baja Designs gear. Some of the hardware, and then our two connectors here that will actually allow us to connect these and tap into the stock systems there. And then we have a couple of pieces of rubber as well. All right, so we're going to proceed to actually going and mounting the frame hardware to be able to attach these to the stock locations inside of the actual the bumper, and we'll go from there. So the first thing we want to do is actually make sure that they're oriented correctly. So we won't need this bevel section actually to be facing the inside of the vehicle. Looks like this will be the left hand or the right hand one when you're looking at the rig, and this will be the left hand one. So this is how they'll ultimately look inside of it, and we'll attach these to the sides of it here to be able to mount right inside of it. Cool, so we'll start off with mounting on the right hand bracket here. You'll take this bracket, and we want to take one of the 4mm bolts, put a flat washer on first, slide it through here, and then you take the serrated washer and you put it on, if I don't get this stuck, then you put it on between the housing and the actual the light. And again here, the goal here is to have this set up so that it is, and we'll go on this light actually, have those backwards. And the goal here again is this is going to be using the stock mounting. This is the bracket to leverage the stock mounting built into the 4runner. So we'll attach this to the light, and these with the screw holes need to be on the exterior part of where the light is. So we'll go through here. Get that started and use our 4mm to tighten it down. And we'll want this to be as you can see here, you'll want to have this be as parallel as possible to this because we want it to be vertical, straight up and down. And we might need to actually go get a actual Allen wrench because it's going to be a little tough to fit that all the way in with how wide it is. All right, with a 4mm Allen wrench retrieved from the toolbox, we can actually finish this. And tighten it down. Be nice and tight and vertical. Looks good to you guys. Looks good to me. Beautiful. Alright, you just want to make sure you don't over torque it just to make sure that you don't damage it either. I think I put that on backwards, so we're going to take that off and redo it. So after actually rechecking the instructions, looks like I was correct here. So that should be all set once you have that all snugged down, and this one should be all set to go and install on the bumper. So we'll repeat the steps over for this one and get this one taken care of as well.
A few moments later.
Okay. That should give us the two lights. Now the next thing we have to do is we can actually do the attachment for to plug into the stock lights here. We need to match and line that up with here, and what you need to do is you need to have black meet black and brown meet white. So we'll take these out of the package. And it's a lot easier to take care of this and do this now instead of actually trying to wait and get it in underneath the vehicle. So this is the side that will ultimately plug into the stock adapter. So what we need to do is we need to attach this here with these two leads to be able to line up with those items there. So if we want to go black to black, and there's only one way for this actually to fit in and slide into this, so we want to make sure that we're hitting the correct side. For that when we actually join these two, that we're going to, for when we join these two, that it actually lines up black to black and white to brown. So as you can see here, black is going to be on this side, the left side inside of this, so we'll want to throw these through into like that, and white to brown. And then you close that to complete the connection and make sure it's all set. As you can see here, it might not be being picked up by the camera, but you can see the leads that have come all the way through. And if you come back to this and take a look, just to confirm, black to black, brown to white. And we're all set. Now this is able to plug right into the stock adapter that's inside the rig, and we should be able to turn the lights right on once we get them installed in the bumper. So we'll repeat that for this one, and then we'll go out to the rig and we'll actually take the bumper off and to get at it and install these, make it a little easier. Alright, so I'm choosing to actually take the whole front bumper off because it just makes it a little easier. It's a little tight in there around where the fog lights are, and trying to get in behind the wheels, it just doesn't make sense. So to pop the bumper off, just a couple of these little clips here, and a couple of 10mm bolts, both here, and then actually underneath the tires. But it's pretty easy to actually do. I've done it a couple of times for installing the front bumper, as well as doing some other work inside of here. So it's relatively easy for me. And gives me lots of space to work, which is great when I actually have the whole bumper off on the ground. But when you are taking the whole bumper off, or if you are planning on taking the whole thing off, you do want to make sure that you don't actually, you have some place to put it. You don't want to actually just put it on the ground. So you're going to want to make sure you actually have like a blanket laid out or something like that. I'm using performance bark mulch that I got at Home Depot. I had some lying around from doing some yard work around, so I figured that gives me a nice little platform that I can use in this situation. Actually, I don't know if that needs to come out. I think it does actually. No, it doesn't. Cool. And these ones off to the side as well are 10mm. Just make sure you don't lose them, because you're going to need to put them back once you put the bumper back on. And then once all of the bolts and things are off that you actually need, you just pull at the edges and it'll come right off. And just make sure that when you're pulling this off that you're actually disconnecting the fog lights, because you don't want the wire to hang and potentially cut itself and all that fun stuff. and the bumper's off. Now just place it down on the towel or whatever you have, and then we can start installing the fog lights. Alright, so to remove the stock fog lights, we need to come in here and take off a couple of Phillips screwdrivers. Phillips headed screws. And we're going to want to hold on to those because we're actually going to use those to put the Bajas on. Once that's done, they come right out nice and easily. And just repeat that for the other side. So now you just take the Bajas and slide them in. There is a little slot here you can see that gives you a little bit of play. They did come with some of these rubber pads that allow you to actually allow this so it doesn't wiggle inside of here, because the right hand side will not actually fit just flush and perfect. So take a couple of these depending on how much play you have and actually cut them up and add them as these tabs that will actually prevent some of that wiggling. Cool. So we'll start with the thin ones and put those on the bottom side here. And then we'll check the fit again. So they don't have to be perfect. They're actually sliding into a hole. So we'll check these. And looks like those fit in a little bit more, which is kind of nice. Make sure your fog light is lined up with the hole inside of here, and then take some of the screws from before and actually just put them back in. Now you might want to put these in just finger tight to start with, because there might be a little bit of adjustment you need to do afterwards, but as it's the middle of the day, it's going to be a little difficult to see the full alignment of them, so we'll tighten them down first and then we'll get back in a little later and actually check it. Once you snug these down, the light's installed, and there's no play on the right hand side, so the tabs did exactly what they're supposed to do. Now we'll just repeat ourselves over on the other side, and then we'll reinstall the bumper. Alright, reinstalling the bumper is just the reverse of taking it off. First you're going to want to just line everything up and make sure your wires are going out through the bottom, so that way you can connect all those afterwards. And then it should snap right back into place.
A few moments later.
Alright, front fender's back on. The last thing we need to do is connect up the lights, and then we're all set. Alright, and then once you're done and everything's reconnected, zip tie up all the extra wires underneath to make it a little easier. Turn it on and see if everything works. Both fog lights turn on when we turn the fog lights on, so we call this a successful install. We hope this was helpful. If you liked the video, please subscribe and like. Otherwise, I hope to see you out on the trails.